There we go. Hey there, strangers. It's time for another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strange Bird Jim. And today, if my screen would come up. Oh, okay, there we go. We are starting off with some, continuing our study for the Pega certification. In this particular case, I'm studying for the system architect. Um, this also can apply quite a bit to the business architect as well. So if anybody wants to join with me and attempt the business architect as well, then you're welcome to do so. Um, you know, all these videos are uploaded to my YouTube channel, so feel free to check out everything that we've covered so far there if you missed any of it. Um, but we're going to continue along. Um, we finished off defining a customer microjourney, and that was a bit rough. Um, had some issues with that particular module, so I would imagine that I'm probably going to need to kind of go back there and relook at some of the questions, or try to interpret their wording again to try to see if I can get their um, try to be better at their module quiz at the end. Um, I do feel like they really need to kind of relook at this particular module though, because there's quite a bit that um, it feels like they're like um, changing up the keywords a lot, and that makes things that can cause confusion. Um, so um, so I didn't really I haven't I'm not a fan of the defining a customer microjourney module. Um, now, like I mentioned, I'm working on the process of getting my certification for system architect. I don't have it, so um, there's multiple different certifications available. I don't have any of them. I was trained in system architect, but the training was crap. So um, so I'm gonna have to do this. Uh, you know, uh, I didn't do a great job first time I attempted this, so um, this is my second attempt on like doing a really good study and try to remember the keywords that Pega uses, even though they like to change things up. So we're going to be going on to the challenge for designing a case lifecycle. So hopefully you all can join me on that. Um, okay, I don't know what happened there, but whatever. Alright, so, um, oh, for those of you watching on Twitch, after we get done with our hour of Pega study, we're going to be going into an hour of just uploading videos on my YouTube channel, and just chatting. And then we're going to be going on to World of Warships after that. So if any of that interests you, stick around. If you're watching this on YouTube, I have playlists, so you're welcome to go to those playlists and see, the gameplay that I've done, in the past. Although I'm behind on my most recent videos, so but hey, plenty of content there if you're interested. So okay, so let's go into designing a case lifecycle. So scenario. The mayor of my town wants to increase resident engagement and improve the town's responsiveness to issues raised by residents. Makes sense. To achieve the goal, the services coordinator wants residents to submit service requests that available city services can resolve. Okay. To begin the process, the mayor and the services coordinator have outlined a workflow for submitting, reviewing, and resolving service requests and have created a service request case type to manage such requests. In minimum level in minimum level product 1, residents create service requests from the user portal. Service coordinators review the request from the user portal, and the department manager and service coordinators resolve the request from the user portal. In minimum levelable product 2, residents, service coordinators, and department managers have the option to interact with service request cases from the mobile channel. The following table provides credentials you need to complete the challenge. You must initiate your own Pega instance to complete the challenge. The installation may take up to 5 minutes, so please be patient. And then, of course, they provide a walkthrough afterwards. Don't click on this unless you are unless you want to see like step by step how they went through the process. Now, I'm going to see if their step by steps here match with their video there. So, and if it actually works according to how they specify their step by steps, right? So, we're going to need to do the initiate Pega instance. So, please be patient as it may take 3 to 5 minutes. This page will automatically refresh when your instance is ready to launch. If this page does not automatically refresh in 5 minutes, click the browser refresh button to manually refresh this page. So, most likely it will just kind of bring up. Yeah, okay. So, I believe this will open up a brand new window or brand new tab, hopefully. So, let's go ahead and do that. Now, let's see. Are you able to see it? Yes, you are. Okay, awesome. Okay, so just so you're aware, this is typically the login screen for any Pega instance, Pega server, whatnot that you want to use to, work with Pega. So they gave us the username, Alter@MyTown, and then the password. So we enter in both of that information and we log in. Okay, so let it load in everything. Obviously, it's probably taking it a little bit of time for the connection to be established, seeing that I'm also streaming. Hopefully, it's faster for you, doing this for the first time and all that. So, but it might take a while too, depending on your connection and computer strength. But because it's an instance, it's most likely on their server. So um, a lot of the workload should be on the Pega academies, on the Pega servers themselves, not necessarily on your personal computer. Um, the application takes a lot, and there is a way to have the application, or have um, the App Studio, the Dev Studio, and so on and so forth. You can put it on your computer, but it's quite extensive in terms of how much it takes. So, um, my old desktop was having a hard time with that with the personal Pega platform. So um, more often than not, I had to use the server's instances to really get any, to really um, work on any kind of projects or anything along those lines, or study the platform. Okay, so here's the overview. As you can see, there's the personas, the channels, the case types, um, version, application documents, application profile. Here they are showing the application layers, um, the Cosmos rules, this CE base, and the MyTown 311. So, um, and where they are overall. So, um, okay. So, um, like I said, we're gonna ignore the video, um, because we don't want to have like a step-by-step process. We want to kind of follow their instructions to do what's needed, right? And at the same time, figure out, how exactly, you know, is their steps actually correct, right? Um, so first one here is in App Studio navigation pane, which here's the navigation pane over here. Click case types and then service request to display the service request case lifecycle. So we're going to go to case types. Taking its time, that's fine. Like I said, you need to have uh, you know, the connection can be a little difficult. So then you just click on service request there, and that will open up the case lifecycle eventually. Like I said, seeing that I'm streaming, um, it's probably the reason why it's one of the reasons why it's probably taking a little bit of time. So, the connection to the server, connection to the interface instance might be taking a little bit longer because of because I'm streaming, I'm already transferring a lot of data through my internet already. So, handling an instance on their servers at the same time is probably what's slowing it down. All right, um, so next step, under case lifecycle, click View, Steps, Personas, Data, Releases All menu to display a list of checkbox items. All right, um, so under here, there we go. You can see the a lot of checkboxes and so on and so forth. Um, very very similar to what you have here. Um, you can remove that information and it will hide that particular um, that particular view. So, like if I don't want personas, I can just hide it from view. I'm not using it, so why view it, right? So, um, same with releases. Although I don't really see any form of releases anywhere on the screen anyway, so not quite sure exactly what that's all about. I could see minimum level product one, minimum level product two, so most likely we'll see that later, maybe under the data and references or interfaces. We'll find that later. But let's move on. Um, as a best practice, first define the case lifecycle at a high level to help you determine the personas, channels, and data objects. High personas and data for now. Okay. Um, Not quite sure why, but we'll go ahead and follow what they want. They want us to hide both the personas and data. There we go. Done. Um, okay, so the sentence is a little off because when you click the data, you know, the program will automatically clear the releases checkbox. So they really should rephrase the sentence a little bit because I'm not automatically clearing the releases checkbox. The program is. So click outside the menu to hide uh, the view menu. So we did that. It's no longer there. So we're just focusing on the steps. Perfectly fine. Let's move on. Add the review and resolution stages. To the right of the create stage, click stage to add a second stage. In the text box that is displayed, enter review to add the second stage name and display the contextual property pane on the right. Okay, so let's handle both of these steps first to handle review. So here we click on that. It brings up a new stage to be generated, and we just type in review. And now we have our brand new stage here. Now, um, you know, so in the text box that is displayed, enter review to add the second stage name and display the contextual property pane on the right. Now, here's the thing. This it doesn't automatically show the contextual property pane on the right. So they need to address that. They need to change that to say, click click on the stage to display the contextual property pane. You know, um, because it didn't automatically display. You know, um, so you have to actually click on the review to show this pane on the right. In the General tab of the Contextual Property pane, select Automatically Move to the next stage to enable the case to advance automatically when the review stage is complete. Okay, so we want to do that. So when this process is done, it'll move on to the next stage. No problems. Um, to the right of the review stage, click Stage to add a third stage. In the text box to display it, enter Resolution to add the third stage name and display the contextual property pane on the right. Okay, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Resolution. See, it's not showing it automatically right at this moment in time. So you have to click on the stage in order to display this again. So, or you have to click on it. You have to click on that specific stage to show the contextual property pane for that stage. So, in the General tab of the Contextual Property pane, select Resolve the Case to resolve the case automatically when the resolution stage is complete. So, done. And it adds some additional fields here, but let's see if it addresses that at all. All right, it does not. We're moving on. Okay, so um, you know, this may be covered, but it may not. So um, apparently they're not worried about what's being done here. So just I know that these fields popped up. We'll deal with that when the time comes. For now, we'll just have to ignore it for now. They personally should add some additional information there to basically say, hey, um, you know do not worry about the contextual property pane that after it's you know um, been updated. you know but we move on. Okay, so build the create stage on the workflow tab. In the create stage, in the create process, hover over the create step and then click delete to delete the create step. um this seems a little odd because you know um in the previous version, uh, in the modules prior, it was saying that you needed a create stage, you needed that create process. So again, this is just a little odd here, but um, it gives us the option to delete the step, so we'll go ahead and delete the step. Done. Click form step to add a step to the multi-step form. Okay. Um, so um, then once again, their language, they need to kind of change this. So what they should do is say click form step to add a step to a multi-step form. You know because we haven't created one yet. We haven't created a multi-step form yet. So um, then you can say but we deleted to create. So it's like, hey, let's go ahead and create a multi-step form for step 2 there, but whatever. In the field that is displayed, enter report problem. Okay, so here we're going to be doing report problem. Now, here's the thing. Um, you can change the name here. So we could have clicked on the create and changed it to report problem. Now here's the thing. Here's probably the reason why they wanted me to delete it. Um, uh, the and the rules under everything that's going on here. Okay, this particular step, you know, it automatically has a rule, kind of associated with it that's called create. Okay, so what they wanted to do was they didn't necessarily want to be using that particular rule, even though it was completely empty. They didn't necessarily want to be using that particular rule because they wanted it to have that specific name of report problem. So if someone needed to like modify that rule later, you can just say, hey, it's under the report problem rule, not the create rule. You get what I'm saying? It would be kind of confusing for them to rename it report problem, but have to basically say, hey, um, it's not a report problem rule, it's the create rule. You get what I'm saying? So um, That's one of the reasons, and that's probably the reason why they wanted you to delete and stuff like that. Um, why they have it automatically create the create step, I don't really know. That's just something that they are doing with this. It causes problems for this because now you have um, like ghost rules, you know, in under everything that's going on here. Um, I state that because um, in the past it's been really difficult to delete a case lifecycle. You have to really like go into the rule sets to delete everything that was created with a case lifecycle. So, um, um, so yeah, it's you know, um, I remember you know, during the training when we were like first introduced to this, um, our instructor told us, you have to name it specifically this way. And I'm like, okay, I made the mistake of like messing up on the capitalization or something like that. I was like going, you know what? Let me reset the capitalization, seeing that capitalization matters. Um, they um, like if you have change with a capital C versus a lowercase c, if you have like two different, you can have basically like two different case life cycles, one with a capital C for change and one with a lowercase c for change. That's perfectly fine within Pega. So, um, so I wanted to kind of keep with, how he was doing his, you know, his example kind of thing following along. So, I wanted to change that around, but I couldn't delete the I couldn't delete the old case type. Or when I was trying to like create a brand new one, um, and change it to um, the capital or whatnot, or was I was having some kind of difficulties with it or something like that. It wasn't allowing me to do um, like maybe it was a while ago, so I'm trying to remember back what happened back then, but um, it wasn't allowing me to create the new case lifecycle or something along those lines. Like it was basically saying, hey, your rule set, um, your rule set was already created or something along those lines. I'm like, wait, what? So the instructor was saying, well, don't worry about it. Just change it into, change one, and we'll move on. I'm like, have what's going on? Why can't I just delete everything? And he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll move on. I'm like, okay, you're not answering my question. So apparently, um, when you create a case lifecycle, it creates a lot of the, you know, under, it has like a lot of rules that are pre-generated when one is created. So, um, uh, so my attempts to remove the case lifecycle didn't really work out because there were some underlying, rules that were generated, and that was causing a conflict with, you know, the new one that I was trying to generate, right? So, um, so if I wanted to have an exact match, I would have had to have gone into every single last little, data rule set that was created and delete every single instance that was generated. Um, basically go into the data here and try to find everything that was um, made and remove them. And believe me, that's a pain. And Pega doesn't have a way to kind of clear that itself. So, so bear that in mind, or at least, you know, unless they've changed that recently, which I kind of doubt. Um, there's no easy way to, delete, you know, um, case life cycles and all the rule sets that are associated with them easily. So, so just bear that in mind. Okay, so click the form step to add the step for the multi-step form for identify location, and again for request updates. So we're going to do this twice. So we're going to do identify location. There we go. And then we're going to do request updates. There we go. Okay. Click the Create process to display the contextual property pane on the right. Okay, so when you click on here, there it goes. So here's the process here. Okay, and it's already putting it into a multi-step form. So, all right. In the contextual property pane under horizontal navigation, click Change to select the navigation template. In the Select a Template window, click Vertical Navigation to display the navigation menu vertically. So right now we're doing the horizontal navigation. We're going to change it to the vertical. So now report problem, identify location, and request updates are now going to be displayed vertically instead of horizontally. Okay, so we're all done with part 3 of this. So we're moving on to build a review stage. On the review stage, hover over process and then click step to choose a step type. Click collect information to add a step that collects user input. Right, um, so over, you hover over this, you see this the fact that step is available. Click on step, and we're wanting to do the collect information. There we go. Now, in the collect information field, enter schedule repair to name the step. Click the review process and then our review submission to replace the process label. So here we're going to do the schedule repair, and then we're going to change the name here for the review process to review submission. When a new process is created, Pega Platform automatically assigns the process name based on the stage name. You can change the default process name after creating the first step in that process. Okay, so here's a problem that they are not addressing right at this moment in time. When when I changed this, it generated a new process down here. That's that's bad. You know, why is it automatically generating a new process here? And why are they not addressing that here? Don't know. We'll move on though. In the resolution stage, hover over process and click step to choose the step type. Click collect information to add a step that collects user input. Um, in the collect information field, enter perform repair to name the step. Okay, so we're going to go here, hover over the process, hover step, click on step, do the collect information, and now we put perform repair. So um, click the resolution process and enter resolve issue to replace the process label. And once again, we have a new process that gets generated here. That's not great. You know, they should be addressing this here, but we'll move on. Click step and approve reject to add a decision task to display an approved reject step under perform repair and add an alternate stage to the case lifecycle. So, wait. Oh, okay. Oh, the windows kind of got changed around there. Okay, let me. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know how the windows got separated, but there we go. Back to normal. Okay, so um, click the resolution step process, enter a resolve issue to replace the process label. So we already did that. Click step, approve reject to add the decision task to display an approve reject step under perform repair, which is the collect information step, and add an alternate stage to the case lifecycle. So um, here under step, we're going to do the approve reject. And that, generates the alternate stage over here. Okay. We need to change the name to review repair. So we'll take care of that. Done. Okay. Click the step to add the third step to the resolution stage. Click more to display three step type categories: processes, user actions, and automations. So we're doing the step once more. We're going to do the more. And here's the processes, user actions, and automations. Now, the uh, the steps here wanted me to go to automations. I saw that ahead of time. So click the automations to display steps that are automatically performed or processed by the system. Click send email and select to add a step that automatically sends pre-configured emails. So we need to search through this for send email, and then we select it. So there you go. Once again, we're kind of ignoring the property pane right at this moment in time, but hopefully they'll address it later. In the send email field, enter send repair confirmation to name the step. In the upper right, click save. The request service case lifecycle is displayed with the stages and steps created, which is incorrect. So because now we have two additional processes here that were automatically generated for our case type, and that should be addressed. So um, we can click on save, but you know um, obviously we have some issues. Our what we are seeing is not the exact same of what they are showing here. Okay, it's close, but we have these additional processes here that were generated automatically. You know, so we need to fix those. Um, so let me see. Hold on. Is there a way for me to um, yeah, I need to suggest an edit here real quick. So let me go ahead and take a screenshot of this. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna need to save my snipping tool here. Screenshots. Challenge one. Okay, hold on a second. I don't necessarily want to be showing off my folders, so or anything else to be for that matter. So 1 second. Let me address this real quick. There we go. All right, now that I've added that in, let me go back to live there. Um, uh, After adding the send repair confirmation, you showed an image that is different than the one that I have. When I changed the names of the processes, the program automatically generated two new processes with the stage name as shown in the image attached. Um, Please add steps to remove these processes or show that um, um, show an accurate representation of the case lifecycle at that specific point. There we go. Sorry about that. You know, because this right here does not match with what we have here. So I wanted to kind of address that. So, um, we're going to leave them in there for now. Maybe they'll address it later on. Probably not, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on here. Okay, so um, okay, so we need to click the save to attempt to save our service request. So okay, now in their example, they were showing the fact that there was an icon that shows up here that had 6 on it. It might be more for us, um, but it should show at least 6, one would hope, um, showing that there's some issues with what we currently have right at this moment in time. And guess what? We have 8. Go figure. We have some extra processes here that has nothing's going on with them. So obviously there's some issues there. Um, all right, so um, on the case type navigation bar in the upper right, click the configuration issues icon to display the draft process warnings dialog box. The dialog displays a warning for each step with an incomplete configuration in the workflow. The number of warnings varies as you configure the case lifecycle. Disregard the warnings as these issues are addressed in subsequent challenges. Okay. I mean, technically you shouldn't necessarily disregard the warnings. You should be addressing them, but they're basically saying, hey, in later challenges, um, we'll be handling these issues. Um, I mean, I guess, um, one would think that you'd want to try to address them, but at the same time, I can understand why I mean, they're, um, okay, here, let me try to show what's going on here. So I click on that, and you have all these issues that are popping up here. View must be configured for request updates. View must be configured for identify location. View must be configured for report problem. View must be configured for schedule repair. View must be configured for review flow 1 ID. View must be configured for perform repair. This field cannot be blank. And view must be configured for resolution flow 1 ID. Unable to open the flow action. So these two connectors here are referencing these steps here that were generated. So I would imagine that if you take out these two steps here for review 1 and resolution 1, these other 6 are what you would be seeing otherwise. So um, but they're basically saying, hey, don't worry about this, we'll address it later. Sure. So basically they're saying, hey, this can't, for example, this can't be blank. Okay, that's one of the issues that they're having here. Okay. This send repair confirmation. You want to send an email off, and you need to have the email address, and you need to have a subject line for that email address. So then you can like compose like messages and so on and so forth. But obviously they want to address, they want to deal with this process in another challenge later, because there might be some additional steps that you might need to take in order to handle that. So that's the reason why they're kind of skipping that for the most part. So um, click the close module to return to the case lifecycle. Um, so yeah, we're clicking on that. We're gonna just click on out of that, and we're back here. We move on. Identify the personas and channels for minimum level of product 1. In the upper left-hand corner of the case lifecycle, click the View Steps menu to display a list of checkbox items. Select Personas and Releases checkboxes to display the Personas and Channels section in the case lifecycle. Okay, so we're clicking on that. We're clicking on the Personas. And they also wanted me to click on the Releases, I believe. Yeah, and the Releases checkboxes for that. All right. In the Personas Channels section in the Create stage, click Persona, New Persona to display the New Persona dialog box. In the Persona name field, click Enter Resident. So we're going to want to grab that. So um, we're under the Create, stage here. We want to do the. Oh, look at. Let me make sure. I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit, and I got to be careful here. Need to, if um, you skip over some necessary steps, you might be shooting yourself in the foot because trying to like remove something afterwards is I've kind of shown it could be potentially a problem. You know, um, like for example, the fact that we had the review one popping up. We changed review. Remember, we changed the name, review submission, or, we changed review to review submission. But yet, why is it showing review one here? See what I'm saying? They have a rule already generated for review in the background, but it was never removed. It was never like changed. They created a brand new process, called review submission instead of removing the old rule of review. You get what I'm saying? Is that understandable? You know, um, because I'm clearly trying to show how Pega handles behind the scenes right at this moment in time because of how um, you know if I was a programmer myself, I'd be like really worried about this because this is adding on a lot of like just um, this is like adding extra classes that you don't need into your code at all. This is making your code just clunky. You know, um, you're adding all these classes that don't have anything in them, and while there might not actually be anything inside these classes, you know, you're still having these classes added into the your full-on package for the application. It's like, why have them in there? Um, you know, so you know, I if so here's the thing. Okay, if review was like completely gone, like, I changed the name of it, right? To review submission. If it was like completely gone, then this would be review and not review one. Okay, they wouldn't have a one here afterwards. Okay, we're not, it's not removing review. Okay, it's still there. Hence the reason why they added a one at the end. So, so just kind of bear that in mind. Okay, so in the upper left-hand corner steps, we did all that. Click the create stage on it. Click persona, new persona to display the new persona dialog box. In the persona name field, okay, so um, okay, so this isn't okay, yeah, no, okay, they're right. So we click on the persona. Technically, they should have like the plus persona here, just so they, um, just so it, really like solidifies what you need to click. You know, if it was like, plus persona, and you'd know, hey, you need to click on this there, and click new persona to display the new persona dialog box. So we click on that, we click on new persona, and um, that brings up the new persona dialog box, as they mentioned there. We're going to be adding in the, persona name in there. In the persona name field, enter resident. Click submit to dismiss the new persona dialog box and display the resident persona and user portal channel, which is added by default. Okay, so we're not changing the image, which is something that you could do. They didn't address that, which is unfortunate. They really should. They didn't want you to change the description, which again is something that you could do, but they didn't address that. They just wanted you to click submit, and the resident persona and the channel gets generated soon-ish. There we go. So here's the resident. Here's the resident's user portal. Um, okay, so we're all done with that. Click the user portal channel to display the configuration pane on the right. Okay, so let me just kind of display that so we know we don't need to look at everything above right at this moment in time. So click on the user portal to go to, to open up the dialog, the panel over here. Um, so in the configuration pane, in the additional details section, click the release list and then click MLP1. The MLP tag is displayed on the user portal channel in the case designer. Um, it'd be nice if they showed um, an image of the user portal channel in the case designer here, but whatever. Um, so under the release, we are picking the MLP1, and that was it, right? Right. So everything should be looking the same here. So repeat steps 3 through 7 to add new personas named Services Coordinator to the review stage and add the user portal with MLP1. Okay, so under the review stage, they want me to do the exact same thing, but we do the Services Coordinator. So new persona, Services Coordinator. We click on User Portal and change the release to MLP1. There we go. Now, as you can see, the MLP1 is shown under the user portal over here. So it shows you what the release is. So um, in the resolution stage, click Persona Manager to add a manager persona. Repeat steps 6 through 7 to tag the manager user portal channel with MLP1. In the resolution stage, click Persona Services Coordinator to add the Services Coordinator persona. Repeat steps 6 through 7 to tag the Services Coordinator user portal channel with MLP1. Why they didn't change it to like the other channels, who knows? That's just what they want to do. So, um, but we need to add the manager and we need to add the services coordinator. And obviously you can change the user portal after you add them in. So there you go. So it should be an exact match of what they have here, which it is. So we're all good there. Okay. Um, Still got quite a bit of work to do, and unfortunately we were like already at the hour. Oh well. Okay. In the upper left-hand corner of the case lifecycle, click View Steps Personas releases all menu to display a list of checkbox items. Okay. In the list, select Data checkbox to display the data interfaces. Oh wait, I haven't done this one yet. Never mind, sorry. I'm skipping a little too much here. Um, okay. So in the create stage, in the resident persona, click channel mobile to add the mobile channel in the resident persona. With the user mobile app channel selected in the configuration pane in the additional details section, click release and then select MLP2. Repeat steps 1 and 2 to add and tag the mobile channel for each persona with MLP2. Okay, um, so hold off on that real quick. We're adding a new channel. We're doing the mobile. There we go. And then we're selecting MLP2 on all these. There we go. Okay, so that should be the same look to it, which it is. So that's perfectly fine. We move on to the next one. Okay, so now we're moving on to the data section, and they're basically saying, hey, add in the data. Sounds good. That added in the view of the data and interfaces over here. So there we go. Um, in the data and interfaces section in the create stage, click data, data object, and new data object to display a new data object dialog box. In the name field, enter request type. Okay, so um, data, data object, new data object. So data, data object, new data object. And now we have the dialog box that pops up. So um, in the name field, enter request type. Click submit to dismiss the new data object dialog box and display the request type data object and Pega system of record, which is added by default. There we go. Um, so, you see the request type and the Pega system of record here. That's what they're referring to. in this particular step here. It's added by default. Click Pega to display the configuration pane on the right. So there's all the information there. Um, in the additional details section, click the release list and click MLP1. Um, there we go. Repeat steps 3 through 7 to add the submitter information and previous issues. Add this location data objects to the create stage with the MLP1 tag. So, right, so each one of the collect information is going to be having this. So data object, new data object there. There we go. And then that there. Change the release to MP1. There we go. All right. Configure your work. On the Workflow tab in the upper right, click Save and Run to save changes and create a new service request case type instance. In the Report Problem view, click No, advance the case to proceed to the next view. Views in the create process are displayed as a model. So, you know, so it's basically, this should be, what we should be seeing here. App Studio prompts you to configure views for each step in the case lifecycle because you have not configured views. Disregard the message. On the identify location step, click no, advance the case. Step, no, step, no, step, view, no, view, no. On the approval step, click approve to complete the case. So we're going to go through, we're going to up here do the save and run. Wait, what? Okay, that took a while. So that's that. You know, there really should have been like a prompt there saying, "Hey, I'm working on it," but whatever. Okay, so no advance the case, no advance the case, no advance the case. It should have been showing this. Saying, "Hey, I'm working on displaying the case type for you," but I wasn't really doing that, so I was like, okay. Um, don't need to configure the view, so no advance the case. No, that's the case. It's showing the review one. So it's showing the additional process there. And then we do the approve. Same with the resolution there. Resolution 1. And that's all done. So now that we've completed the challenge, we can do the verify challenge. Now, most likely it's going to say, "Hey, no, there's a problem with your challenge because it's going to have additional processes in there. Um, oh no, they completed the challenge. Okay. Um, I don't, interesting that they they didn't have an issue with the extra processes that were in there. They probably should have checked that. Um, like if you added something extra in in this list, but they only checked did you complete the steps according to how they wanted you to complete them? They checked all your steps that you did, to see if you completed all the steps. And because you completed all the steps, challenge complete. So we completed it, you know. Um, Now we can we can use this instance and continue like messing with it if we wanted to. Um, we can kind of go back to this case type if we wanted to and continue messing with our within the App Studio. Okay, we can go into the service request and start messing with it, start adding to it, changing it, however we want to. We could, in a sense, create our own application like right now because this instance is an instance of App Studio. You can use this to kind of you know, um, like test out how you might want, your own application if you wanted to, um, so if you have a lot of free time or something like that, and you're not streaming like what I'm doing, and you want to get your certification, you know, um, or if you wanted to like maybe redo the process all over again, or something like that. Maybe you want to generate a brand new case type or something like that. Like maybe you want to do a new one, change up the name and just redo then that entire steps. Go right ahead. Like I said, this is a, um, you know, you can, uh, you can just modify what you have here or create a, brand new duplicate of this case life cycle. Doesn't really matter. You can mess with it if you wanted to. You know. Um, you know. So my case type name will be request service, and it will generate a brand new case type here, or at least I believe it should. I don't think they really restrict the instances that much. They might, they might, but um, to my knowledge, when you generate an instance like this for these challenges, um, you really can um, work with the instance to kind of do do your own thing if you really wanted to. So right now um, it's generating all the rule sets that are kind of under the case type. All the Pega rules. The base layer, the base foundation. When you create new and you generate, you know, a brand new case type, it's working on building that foundation for this particular case type so you don't have any problems. You know, you're not going to have any bugs with the Pega platform, or, supposedly. Not to say that it's not perfect, but, you know, they're definitely trying to make it, easy to use. So now one thing that I will state is the fact that this is built off of Java. Okay, Pega platform is built off of Java, so I find it to be very slow overall. Um, C and C++ tend to handle their memory management, you know, um, or the C language handles memory quicker overall than what Java can do. Okay. Um, don't get me wrong. Java with its trash collector is great, but when you're in C and C++ and the C language overall, and the fact that you can basically say, hey, I don't want this object anymore, remove it. It's done. You clean it up like that. No worries, right? You don't have to worry about waiting for the trash collector to handle removing the object for you. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. People mess up a lot. You know, with C and C++ in that memory management. They're going to be like, hey, I can't. You know, um, people that don't really know any better, they're going to kind of shoot themselves in the foot with memory management when it comes to C and C++. But um, I tend to view it as kind of more of a powerful language in my particular opinion than Java, just because you can handle memory faster. Um, but but it's also prone to a lot of memory mismanagement as well. Um, so that's one of those things. It's like you can really design really clean, efficient code with C++ or the C language in general. Um, and not to say that you can't do it with Java as well, but it's just I when you compare like a Java program to a C++ program, it often feels like a C++ program can get something done quicker. No, I feel. I don't, I haven't done any like bench tests or anything along those lines with, hey, if you build like two programs exactly the same, with Java and C++, with the same kind of requirements, how do they compare? I haven't really done that before. I'm sure that there's probably videos out there that have kind of studied that before. Um, but I'm not gonna jump into that. I'm just saying, Pega platform feels very slow, because it's based off of Java, at least based off of what I've seen anyway. Um, but that's me, you know. Um, I'm I'm not a Mr. Expert in the programming, world or anything along those lines. You know, I don't make the assumption that I'm least better than everybody else. No, I tend to view the exact opposite. You know, um, in some cases, I still feel like I'm leagues behind other programmers in certain regards. So, um, but um, it comes with practice. So, um, it just it's funny because I say that I'm leagues behind, but yet at the same time I can correct other programmers' mistakes too. So it's weird. I have a really very weird dynamic there. In that um, I tend to um, undersell myself, I guess. So oh well. But there you go. there's your like two different case types, and you can mess around with this instance if you wanted to. So, um, but yeah, you can just kind of exit out of here. So log off. It'll send you back out to the login page. I mean, you could log right back in if you really wanted to. For with this particular instance. I mean, the instance is still up and running, so you know you can log back into the same instance. You're going to be able to see the case types that you built, and the edits that you made with them. So, um, you know, so, but just know that um, after a while they will get rid of this instance. So don't feel like you're going to be able to um, keep this for months and months and months. This particular instance, no, they will remove it after a while. Um, so don't feel like um, you can use this to build your brand new application and launch it from there without any issues from Pega. No, they will remove it. I want so just bear that in mind. Use it for practice. That's it. You know, if you're using it um, for like a portfolio for later, well, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. So, all right, but that's going to be it for that. So, we are done with our challenge. Um, so. We are going to go ahead and return to the mission. We're not going to do the continue mission because that's going to throw us right into the next module. Um, so, um, but we're going to continue with the low-code app builder. We're going to be moving on to the next module because there is an additional challenge after that. We're going to be moving on to user guidance tomorrow. Um, it's showing that there's only 2 topics for 15 minutes. So he'll probably take me the full hour, maybe. It depends. Then we'll see about setting the case status after that. If it gets too long in the stream, then I'll just hold off on the challenge for next time. So, but that's it. I'm already kind of going over already. Sorry for these hour-long videos turning out to be more hour and a half, but there you go. We're going to go ahead and close on down here. I'm going to stop the recording, so feel free to check out the rest of my videos on YouTube if you're interested in the um, this progress that I'm doing for the system architect certification. Um, but yeah, that's where we're going to go ahead and close on down. So thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitch, stick around. Got more to do. So stop and recording.